What's going on, my fellow rock and rollers? Don't forget to smash the bell notification icon to be notified every time I put out a new video on my channel. AC/DC is a band that's been no stranger to tragedy. They first lost their original singer Bon Scott in 1980 due to acute alcohol poisoning. By the mid-80s, AC/DC were soon blamed for inspiring serial killer Richard Ramirez with their song Night Prowler. AC/DC wasn't immune from controversy the following decade, as in 1991 a concert in Utah would result in the death of several fans. For their credit, AC/DC is a band that hasn't let the rougher parts of life get them down, and they've always soldiered on thanks in large part to founding member guitarist Angus Young. Fans of AC/DC wouldn't know it until years later that June 28, 2010 would be rhythm guitarist Malcolm Young's final live show of his career. The band was in Spain performing a concert in the city of Bilbao, and Spain was the final stop for the band, who had been on the road for almost 2 years promoting their 2008 record Black Ice. Even though the public didn't know the extent of his health issues, this tour was a struggle for Malcolm. He would have to relearn songs he previously knew by heart and receive medical care during the tour. His brother Angus Young would tell Rolling Stone magazine in November of 2014 that Malcolm was struggling with concentrating and having memory issues before they even started work on their 2008 record Black Ice. He would be quoted as saying, "Malcolm was still capable of knowing what he wanted to do. I said to him, 'Do you want to go through with what we're doing?' And he said, 'Shit, yeah.'" Following the band's final show in Spain, the group took almost 4 years off, releasing a stopgap record in between, which was their 2012 live album from River Plate Stadium in Argentina that happened in 2009. In 2012, frontman Brian Johnson would give an interview where he hinted that health problems were hampering production on the group's next record, revealing, "One of the boys is a little sick, and I can't say anything, but he's getting better. He's doing wonderful. Full recovery, fully expected," he'd say. And the band would finally reassemble to record their follow-up, 2014's Rock or Bust, but in April of 2014, a few weeks before they were to hit the studio, word leaked that Malcolm Young was done with the band, as his health had deteriorated to the point that he wasn't able to continue. And frontman Brian Johnson provided an update without naming names, saying, "One of the boys has a debilitating illness, but I don't want to say too much about it. He's very proud in private, a wonderful chap. We've been pals for 35 years and I look up to him very much." But the same day, AC/DC put out their own statement confirming that Malcolm was, as they put it, taking a break from the band that he helped form 4 decades prior. The statement would also put to rest rumors that AC/DC was retiring, as the statement would read that the group would move forward and continue to write and record new music. While the band's latest record at the time, 2014's Rock or Bust, wouldn't feature Malcolm's signature guitar playing, he did co-write every song on the album. Filling in for Malcolm was his nephew Stevie Young, who had previously replaced Malcolm in 1988 while he went into treatment for his alcohol addiction. Johnson would later admit that Malcolm's absence was felt in the studio, saying, "We missed Malcolm obviously. Stevie was magnificent in his stead, but when you're recording with this thing hanging over you and your workmate isn't well, it's difficult. I'm sure he was rooting for us the whole time we were in Canada," he'd say. Drummer Phil Rudd would run into his own problems, and while he would play on the album Rock or Bust, he wouldn't tour with the band, as he would be replaced by prior drummer Chris Slade. Rudd had suffered legal troubles in 2014 when he was arrested for drug possession and attempting to hire a hitman. And by 2016, the band would run into more trouble, as with only 22 shows remaining as part of the Rock or Bust tour, frontman Brian Johnson would suffer hearing issues and need to stop touring immediately. The band enlisted the help of Guns N' Roses frontman Axl Rose, who did an incredible job filling in for Brian. Following the end of the Rock or Bust tour in late 2016, the AC/DC camp went silent for about a year. Then on November 18, 2017, the news that a lot of fans were expecting finally happened, as Malcolm Young would die from the effects of dementia at the young age of 64. The music world responded with an outpouring of support, with Guns N' Roses guitarist Slash posting on social media, "Monumentally sad day in rock and roll," and Guns N' Roses, who were on tour at the time, would dedicate Knockin' on Heaven's Door to Malcolm's memory following the news of his passing, while guitarist Eddie Van Halen put out a statement saying he was the heart and soul of AC/DC. But perhaps the most touching tribute came from his bandmate Brian Johnson, who put out a statement at the time saying, "I'm saddened by the passing of my friend Malcolm Young. I can't believe he's gone. We had such great times on the road. I was always aware that he was a genius on guitar. His riffs have become legend, as has he. I send my love and sympathy to his wife Linda and his children Kara and Ross and Angus, who will all be devastated, as we all are. He never liked the celebrity side of fame, he was too humble for that. He was the man who created AC/DC because he said there was no rock and roll out there. I'm proud to have known him and call him a friend, and I'm going to miss him so much. I salute you, Malcolm Young, he'd say. And by 2018, rumors had circulated that the band was back at work in the studio in Vancouver, Canada. Photographs of the band at a studio and a local hotel only added fuel to the fire, and a recent interview with the band's longtime engineer confirmed that the group was in fact up to something. Jam magazine would also report several years ago that AC/DC's new material was using old guitar parts that were recorded by Malcolm, with the magazine claiming 5 years prior to the Black Ice LP, at that time Angus and Malcolm were living together, where they literally wrote hundreds of songs, and many were recorded and have been stashed away. They further elaborated, explaining that Angus selected the best tracks for those recordings and would use them as the song's foundations on which the rest of the band would build. And just last year, Dee Snider confirmed the existence of new AC/DC material, posting on Twitter, all 4 surviving members have reunited with tracks recorded by Malcolm while he was still alive. Malcolm's nephew Stevie Young is replacing him. He's done this a couple times before. It's as close as you can get to the original band. And while the AC/DC camp has been silent on the band's future plans, we can sit here and wait and hope that we can hear Malcolm Young one more time. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Take care.